Good morning and welcome to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Happy Tuesday. And nice and crisp and cool outside. Clear sky, one of those clear skies where you look up and you can see all the planets.
Yes, it's beautiful out.
Amazing.
Yes, I love it.
And the morning star must be Mercury. That thing looks like a spotlight up there. Good Lord.
Yes, I love it. This is what happens when you also go to the country. You can actually see a lot of the stars, especially in the mountains. I will say that's one thing I do miss about Utah. You can definitely see the stars.
Beautiful.
But it's election day for David Tootle, County Commissioner, District 2, special election. This is the runoff, so if you're a Republican and you live in District 2, go vote for David Tootle.
Absolutely. And early voting's underway also for the other county and city officials as well, including the mayor.
Yeah, so making it as confusing as possible because you cannot vote for David Tootle and the city candidate at the same time. You would have to go to two different polling locations, your original polling location and then your early voting location. So they're keeping it as complicated as possible just for you.
Yes, sir, because they're on your side or something like that. Kind of like WSAV.
Yeah.
For real. And also, we're bottomless pits when it comes to money.
Janet Yellen was here a few weeks ago at the port checking it out. Maybe she was trying to see how much income we could make as a country, because she is now saying, you know what, Bill? Not one more, but two for us. We have Joe Biden thinks we're the most powerful country in the world, which is still true now.
Yeah, she probably thinks that all those ships coming in, all those TEUs, the big containers on the ships, are filled with money. Because she said we can fight wars on two fronts, and hey, let's bring in the Chinese. Let's fight in the Pacific too.
Yes, well, and really quick before we get to that, Lizzie Warren's with us. She says vote David Tootle. All other parties can vote for Tootle too. Right. Yes, we'll accept all votes for David Tootle.
David will be with us live this morning in about a half an hour.
Yes. So stay tuned for that. And back to Janet. I guess she's going to start writing checks.
Yeah, by all means, because she knows we got plenty of money, no problem.
What this all means. Paul Tudor-Jones, the famed investor, was on CNBC this week, and he said, "This is the most threatening and challenging geopolitical environment that I've ever seen. At the same time, the US is in its weakest fiscal position since World War II, with debt to GDP at 122%. Can America, can the West afford another war at this time?"
I think the answer is absolutely. America can certainly afford to stand with Israel and to support Israel's military needs. And we also can and must support Ukraine in its struggle against Russia. And look, the American economy is doing extremely well.
This is the woman that told us that inflation wasn't going to be a problem. It was just a little bump in the road.
Transitory, right? Transitory was their favorite word that they like to use. And thanks to Biden voters for creating this perfect storm, says Lizzie Warren. Absolutely. And here's the other thing. The best part is they can just lie. I mean, if you go to the grocery store, you know that the economy is not doing well. If you worked at the Wall Street Journal and you just got laid off, 240 jobs, you said, it's not doing well.
The Washington Compost.
Oh, Compost, sorry.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep them all straight.
Yeah, true.
Left-wing newspaper. Mary McCann Hybrider said she is gaslighting. She absolutely is. And, the thing is we're writing the check for everything right now. We have all these illegals coming in. We're giving them $2,200 a month. We're setting them up in these nice, classy hotels in New York and across the country, which I find quite interesting. I actually, we'll get to that later, but Georgia is actually taking in a lot of illegals, way more than I thought, Bill. There's a map that was released yesterday about how many illegals are coming in, and I believe that we're in like the second tier for the most taking in illegal immigrants. So
where are we putting them?
Great question. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
But I do know that, we have a ton here. Obviously, they're showing up to school board meetings. They're demanding that they have translators. So we've got to get a handle on this.
Yeah, we do. We can't afford this, okay?
No.
I mean, we're living on borrowed money as it is. $33 trillion in debt. Are you kidding me? This is pathetic. We have to get a handle on this, and we have to do it fast. We need to know where these people are, where they're going, and we need to set up, figure out where to put them in tractor trailer trucks and get them the hell out of here.
Exactly, Bill. And I think that, they're sending who they are. I'm not 100% sure, but they are sending Biden over to Israel into an active conflict, which I'm like, what are we doing?
Biden's going to Israel?
He's going tomorrow.
Wow. Haven't the Jews suffered enough?
He is the last person I want in the room making decisions for what happens next. Mm-hmm. And I think Antony Blinken is over there as well.
Well, there's a dream come true.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of war deals they're making with them. But we also have 2,500 troops going over there. They're not being actively deployed. I'm trying to think of how they're twisting this, but they're preparing them, just in case. Mm-hmm. But let's all be realistic. They're being actively deployed over there, and with that, we don't even have a Speaker of the House right now, which I'm fine with. But how do they continue to get us in these active conflicts without going to Congress and saying, this is what we need to do, we're deploying troops?
They just do it.
Exactly. It's unconstitutional.
Yeah, well, they put the Constitution in the shredder years ago.
Yeah, well.
Constitution, we don't need no stinking Constitution.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sick of sending our men and women over there to die on these foreign battlefields while we have plenty of problems at home we need to deal with.
Exactly.
And here's the thing. If we're going into active conflict, our borders should be closed. What are we doing?
No doubt about it. And put the troops on the border here, not over somewhere else.
Yeah, well, and Marco Rubio, he was on Fox yesterday. I do not watch Fox, but I did catch this clip, and I thought it was rather interesting, his insight on what we should do with all these people that are now pro-Hamas.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks, Phil.
Here's Mark. Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's the existing law of the country, right? Our laws basically say that you are inadmissible under a visa, student visa, to be a teacher here, to be a tourist, whatever, if you are a supporter of a designated terrorist group. And then this week, we see people marching at universities and in the streets of our country and so forth, calling for intifada, celebrating what Hamas has done, justifying what Hamas has done. These are supporters of Hamas. Those people who are here, okay, on a visa to be a student, to be a professor, whatever, those people need to go.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Well, we used to do that in this country.
Exactly.
If you support terror attacks, I'm sorry, you can't be here. We don't believe in that here.
I would start rounding these people up in these demonstrations and say, look, we're going to ship you over there so you can be human shields and see how you like it. Yeah.
And Steve Stanton Sr. says, when I go to the grocery, gas, or pay my power bill, I don't think America could fight a war and defend Chatham County. I don't disagree with you.
It's a good point.
Yes.
I think I started adding it up the other day. I was scared because I kept wondering why the bank account was getting smaller and smaller, and I realized I'd gone as many times as I'd gone to the grocery store, and I'd probably spent this month close to $1,000.
Oh my goodness.
And still don't have everything that I need.
Yeah, and you still need to go get more, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Mary McCann Hybrider says, don't we feel safe and secure knowing all these idiots are in charge? Yes. Well, it's sad when I could probably go to the grocery store and find people that could run this country better. Mm-hmm. These people, it has to be intentional, Bill. I don't understand how these people...
Nobody could be this stupid. And you have to ask yourself, if you were putting together a group of folks specifically designed to destroy America, you couldn't pick a better group. Tell me who else you could pick and put in these positions. That's all I want to know.
I mean, Hillary Clinton could be somewhere, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they haven't called her up yet, but
she's still around. Complaining about the 2016 election.
Yeah,
and saying that
she's on her press tour still,
and also look how they're setting the stage for the next one, because they said the fix is already in place for 2024.
The people are not going to stand for it. Mm-hmm. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But the other thing is, did you hear that there was an insurrection at the White House yesterday? Did you hear about that?
Well, and how many people are in jail because of it?
Exactly 0.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry. They must have been Democrats.
Yep.
It's good to be a Democrat.
It must be.
You can do anything and not have to pay for it.
do you get in an active conflict? You're pushing
Secret Service.
Secret Service, and nothing happens to you?
Yeah.
I didn't think that those were the rules, Bill.
Capitol Police. Yeah.
Amazing how that works. If you're supporting the current thing, whatever the current thing is.
Yeah.
However, it's interesting that the president is being pro-Israel right now, but he also asked them not to go into Gaza.
Yeah. In fact, these guys could have pulled out a gun and shot these people and not had to, just like Ashley Babbitt, not have to worry about it.
Yep.
Get off of it. The worst thing is that we're tolerating this. When you tolerate something, it gets only worse.
But here's the thing, Bill. People don't want to pay attention. They want to live in their bubble. They don't understand also at the level of...
The bubble can burst in a hurry.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like, people want to be left alone. They don't want to deal with politics. But at the same time, we're headed into World War III.
Politics is dealing with you.
It sure is.
So you have to get out there and vote. And like we said, voting is today. Early voting is going on. You folks in that 2nd District in Chatham County, for goodness sakes, vote for David Tootle. He's going to be with us here in just a few minutes, live and in person, and talk to us about his campaign and why you need to go out there and vote 2-3 times today.
Yes, and Mary McCann Hybrider said it is intentional. And Stephen Stanton Sr., he says we have to have an October 16th commission immediately. We do need one of those, Steve Stanton.
Yes, sir. I think that might have been the worst thing I've seen since the Civil War.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible.
Yeah,
so
much
terrible.
Worse than Pearl Harbor.
Yes. Well, and the other thing is the things that I'm seeing in this country for the people are okay with what Hamas did, and they think that it's that they had every right to do it. I think that's something that I'm very concerned about in this country.
Their logic eludes me. We're against violence. First of all, they're saying it didn't happen.
Oh, good.
Good. They weren't beheading babies.
Oh, okay. Burning children alive.
Apparently, this is AI or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But even though they are against it, they realize that it was necessary.
Well, and here's the thing, Bill. We have brought a lot of these people into our country, and now this is what Dearborn, Michigan looks like.
Yeah. Okay, that wasn't the UAW workers on strike, was it?
Nope, that was the pro-Palestinian march up in Dearborn, Michigan. I do believe under Obama, he brought in a lot of these people and put them up in Michigan, which I find quite interesting. But I believe isn't that where Ilhan Omar's from? Or Tlaib, one of them.
Well, one's from Michigan, one's from Minnesota.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. So you've got that. This is what we're up against.
It's really scary, Bill, and I don't think people understand the level that we're at this point. We have the Ukraine-Russia war, we have the Israel conflict going on, and I mean,
and it's got to be,
and we're sending our people over there. We're sending our people over there to fight these wars.
Yeah, the fact that it's got to be done now, because we can't wait. It wouldn't matter how you vote if these people outnumber us and overwhelm us, because it happened in Miami some years back when they decided they were going to vote English as the official language or something like that, and most of the Hispanics there were overwhelming amount of Hispanics on the city council, and all said, no, that's not the case. We're still going to speak Spanish whether you like it or not. All right, coming up next.
Well, the Speaker of the House fight continues, and I will tell you, with Republicans like these, why do you need Democrats?
That's right.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their
Kolaches, tacos, coffees, they're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
I don't think it's an accident that I ended up writing music for a living, because I think I lived in a house where I saw how deeply it affected everyone in the house. And just how much everyone defined themselves by the music they listened to.
Music as a framework, I think, gave my parents my identity from a young age. You can like any music that you want if it makes you feel happy. And now when I hear certain songs, I think of them, and I think of them in their happiest state, and it makes me happy.
If they seem like they're having trouble talking about something, I try to tell them about a time when I felt something similar.
Whatever the issue was, we would tell them the pros and cons and how important it was that they had come to us because we could always help them. I think the real important point, we always told them, no matter what you do, no matter what happens, we will help you through it no matter what it is.
Are you a mom or dad? Do you have little kids with big dreams? Well, hopefully your kids aren't white or Asian, because if they are, they will have a very hard time getting into their dream college or landing their dream job. Top schools and corporations are run by left-wing Democrats, and they openly discriminate against whites and Asians. So even if your daughter has the best test scores, even if your son has amazing grades, even if they spend extra hours studying and doing everything right, it won't be enough. Unless you suddenly discover that you're part Cherokee, or transgender, or in the country illegally. Otherwise, your kids are out of luck. Which begs the question, if Democrats are hurting your children, why would you ever vote for them? Stop the bigotry. Stop the insanity. Paid for by Citizens for Sanity.
Welcome back to Gwt Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Still looking for a speaker.
Yes, we are. And there was a vote Friday, and Jim Jordan won that vote. But the thing that bothers me, Bill, is why didn't they go directly to the floor after that to get people on record for who they voted for? Well,
I have to ask them.
Well, I think that they also take the time to rally people and see who else they can get to fill that seat, because they do not want Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan is not going to give us everything we want. I'm going to be upfront and honest about that. Jim Jordan, as the Freedom Caucus founder,
Judicial
Committee, and then he will also look very different as the Speaker of the House. He does have to work with more moderate Republicans and also more of the firebrand Republicans like Matt Gaetz. Mm-hmm. But he is, I think, an honest person. I do think he wants to serve the people. He wants to do the right thing.
Without a doubt.
And
may have to buy a coat.
Yes, well, it would be an upgrade from Speaker McCarthy, who I don't feel like we've gotten a lot done in the last, 9-10 months since he has been Speaker. I don't feel that we have done enough.
Well, we haven't. And McCarthy, I think, was a little bit of a pleasant surprise on a lot of fronts, though. But nevertheless, we were doing a lot of bloviating without any action. As we pointed out earlier, by this time, when the Democrats took over, Donald Trump Jr. had been called in front of them 3 times in person. I haven't seen Hunter Biden appear before him once. They keep talking about it and talking about these not resolutions, but what they're going after and doing an investigation. And doing an impeachment investigation. What is it?
Inquiry.
Yeah.
They like to use fancy words.
Mm-hmm. The time for inquiry is over. Let's start the impeachment process.
Well, here's the other thing. They're not using pressure points that they could use, which is the border. It's also defunding a lot of the stuff that the DOJ is doing. There's a lot of things that they could do, and they haven't done them. And Kevin McCarthy has done a lot of backdoor dealings that have come to light. And one of them was he basically gave Biden a blank check till 2025. I'm not okay with that bill, and I don't think a lot of Republicans were okay with his behavior and what he was doing. He also thought that Nancy Pelosi was going to come in and save him, and she didn't. And you know,
I don't know why he was looking for Nancy Pelosi
because he has been making deals with them the whole time. I mean,
you don't. No, I'm sorry, you don't make deals with the devil.
No, well, and here's the thing. We need to elect more people that are America first, that believe in our country and believe that we should do what's right for us first. Although I do think that there are things that we'll always have to do, trade deals and things like that. However, it has to benefit America first. And we've gotten far, far away from that. And a lot of special interest groups are getting what they want, but the American people are suffering because of it.
It's pathetic when you think about just some of the things that I'm doing. I've gone to the Veteran Affairs office to see what benefits that I have, and they've sent me to different doctors and things of that nature to have things checked, had a hearing check and everything. And so far, haven't heard much back from them, other than the fact they did send me a check for $22 for the gas that it cost to go to the doctor that they were sending me to out in Rincon. But other than that, don't hear much, and this process has been going on for a year and a half. Still waiting to hear something from the VA about any kind of benefits that I may have acquired over the years as a retired military officer.
Well, and Steve Stanton says that Republican from Alabama has to stop acting like a Democrat. There's a lot more than one. And Lizzie Warren says Biden has a prosecutor removed from Ukraine, but won't tie Palestinian aid to hostage release. Amazing how that happens. Just release that $6 billion because he can.
What happened if we don't pay for do deals with terrorists?
We don't negotiate with terrorists. I'm not sure what happened to that, but guess it's left him. He must have forgotten.
Yeah.
Seems to be kind of his MO these days.
Yeah, that's right. He's forgotten quite a bit.
Yes. Well, and there are people that will not vote for Jim Jordan just because of Matt Gaetz, which I think is ridiculous. I think these people need to grow up, and this is where they're at.
Okay, where I'm at right now is since the folks that want to follow the majority, which is the rule, we should follow the majority. Kevin McCarthy had 96%. 4% took him out, joining with the Democrats. Now we're in conference where the Democrats don't get the vote, and I'm back with Kevin McCarthy. Since he, out of all of the folks that have thrown their hat in the ring, he is head and shoulders above the rest in the majority that he's able to put together. It was 96%.
And you're a no on Jordan on the floor right now.
I'm a no on allowing Matt Gaetz in the other 7 to win by putting their individual in as speaker. Okay.
So you can also see that there's a us versus them within the Republican Party, per usual, but I think that they just need to grow up.
I realize the crisis that we're in, okay? Thank God these people weren't here after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, that's all I can say. This is ridiculous. And they say, well, I'm going to vote for Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy's not running.
I was going to say,
Something says they're going to vote for Steve Scalise again. Scalise has dropped out.
Yeah, people need to vote for Jim Jordan. The reason that they're not taking it to the floor is because they don't want everyone to see who they're voting for.
What an idiot they are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want to know because the American people want Jim Jordan. There's a high percentage that want Jim Jordan.
Exactly.
And there's another one that said, I'm only voting for Speaker McCarthy.
Yeah, I want a seance and bring Ronald Reagan back. I mean, it's not going to happen, okay?
Kevin McCarthy. I've been very, very vocal about it. I've also been very consistent. Since Wednesday, I've been in the same place, and I'm going to stick to it. Look, 8 Republicans voted with 208 Democrats to oust the Speaker of the House, our Speaker of the House, our leader, that we supported by 96%. And so I think the way out of this is to go back into the future, I guess, and just reinstate Kevin McCarthy. Us, looking for another leader, et cetera, makes no sense whatsoever. 96%.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't understand what these people are doing. It's Kevin McCarthy or nothing. Well, we tried the Kevin McCarthy route.
Yeah.
And there's more than 8 that don't want to vote for him. Obviously, there's 121 that voted for Jim Jordan.
It's just disgusting that these people are just running around and saying they're going to vote for somebody who's not running for office. And McCarthy has said he's for Jim Jordan. He's thrown his support behind Jim Jordan. Okay, that should be enough.
Well,
you're looking like idiots, and maybe there's a good reason for that. But for goodness, we're talking about the future of the country here. We're talking about a possibility of World War III with this skirmish that's going on now. If it just like remember how World War I started? For those of you who may be over 40, you might have had history. And there was an assassination, and that led to World War I. Of course, they didn't number them in those days. It was called the Great War originally, because they didn't, they thought we would fight this one, and boy, we'd see how bad that was, and this would never happen again. And within 25 years, we were in another one. And we've been in conflicts ever since. But these things can start off very, very small and escalate into world conflicts. And this is exactly where we are right now. We are in, and for the Republicans to sit around and argue about who's going to be Speaker of the House makes them look like damn fools.
Yes, well, and Steve Stanton Sr. says, we will get Jim Jordan, mark my word.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that we do. I will say I think that they've been scouting other candidates because they know that they're going to run into some real issues with Jim Jordan as Speaker, because the other thing that has been happening is that Kevin McCarthy hasn't allowed some of the committees to do everything they want, because everything does have to go through the Speaker's approval. So I think we blame Jim Jordan for a lot of things, but at the same time, Kevin McCarthy could also be the reason that we're not seeing a lot of these investigations go further, and it could be because his office wasn't approving them. So there's a lot to be said about what goes through the Speaker and what what Kevin McCarthy could have been holding up.
Yeah, so it is time for them to get off their high horse and realize that we are in a crisis, and things like this have to be taken care of. It's just pathetic that we don't have people who are going to stand up and say, look, Jim Jordan may not be my first choice, but he is my choice.
Well, and here's the thing. We're at a point where we just need to move forward. Mm-hmm. And they get mad at Matt Gaetz, but Matt Gaetz just called Kevin McCarthy for what he wasn't doing. And there's a lot of people that agree with him, but that because of their political capital, they weren't willing to vote with him. However, they are voting against Kevin McCarthy now, and they will not see him again take the speakership. Yeah. So we need to move on. Jim Jordan, I think, is a good compromise, because if I had it my way, we would have Donald Trump, or we would have Matt Gaetz, or, someone said George Bush. I was like, what are we talking about? George W. Bush. I'm like, no.
What?
Yeah. Someone was saying that on one of the shows. I was like, what are we doing here?
Wow. That one came out of left field, for sure.
Yeah, well.
And he wouldn't take it anyway.
No. So
I think he's enjoying being on the ranch and, having a good time and, living the life of luxury, lap of luxury.
Yeah, it must be nice. And we're all headed into World War III. So very exciting stuff going on. And Bill, I hope we're going to have a vote on the Speaker. I hope it is not a secret vote. I hope they take it to the floor and we see what happens today.
Probably won't happen on the first vote, but I think he'll get it on the second vote.
I hope so.
They're going to have to get it settled down.
Hope so.
All right. Election day today for you folks in District 2 in Chatham County. We'll talk to the one of the candidates, David Tootle. He's going to be with us live and in person. That's coming up. Stick around. Stay real.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
When I grow up, I want to work for a woke company, like super woke.
When I grow up,
I want to be hired based on what I look like
rather than my skills.
I want to be judged by my political beliefs. I want to get promoted
Based on my chromosomes. When I grow up, I want to be offended
by my coworkers
and walk around the office
on eggshells
and have my words policed
by HR. Words like
grandfather,
peanut gallery,
long time no see,
no can do.
When I grow up,
I want to be obsessed with emotional safety and do workplace sensitivity training all day long. When I grow up, I want to climb the corporate ladder.
Just by following the crowd.
I want to be a conformist. I want to weaponize my pronouns. What are pronouns?
It's time to grow up and get back to work. Introducing the #1 woke-free job board in America, redballoon.work.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Welcome back to Get Real America. It's time to get real with David Tootle. There hasn't been a race change or transition or operation here done. This is not Brittany. This is David Tootle running for the 2nd District and just filling a post right now. David, is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Gator died about 6 months ago.
Yeah,
so
Gator Rivers, good friend, a former Globetrotter.
Yeah.
Who represented Savannah so well. One of the things that I remember, David, I ran into when he was still with the Globetrotters, I ran into him at a grocery store when they'd just gotten back from like a world tour.
Wow.
And he said when they've gone to some of these other countries and gotten this perspective, which is some of the things we need to talk about with some of our citizens, said they kissed the ground. They said, America is the place.
Yeah.
And Gator, I think, represented us very well.
Amen to that. Yeah. America is the place, to hear that, from a guy like that, it's amazing. And somebody who had been well-traveled, obviously being a Globetrotter, they've traveled the globe. To hear that, to come back home and to, even as bad as things may have been, still, there's no place like America.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, tell people about how the campaign's going.
Campaign's going well. We've worked tirelessly for weeks now. We're right here at the finish line. Today's the day. Please go vote. It is today. Today's the vote. So cast your vote if you haven't already. I don't think there were many early votes, so we need people to show up today.
Absolutely, and even though your opponent got a lion's share of the vote last time, with something like this, turnout is the big issue, because a lot of people, they not only didn't vote in a special election, they don't vote in the extra special election. So the turnout's even worse. And I thought, and David, this is something I think we need to concentrate on with our kids. Or go into the schools or something. Don't seem to teach civics anymore, and find out what a great country this is, but also your responsibility as a citizen. Most important thing you do as a citizen, I think, is to vote.
Absolutely. I learned when I turned 18, I took a civics course or government course, and I remember the teacher saying, Ms. Dillon at the time, she said, hey, if you don't vote, you can't complain.
Exactly.
You don't have a right to complain. So the unique thing about this situation, though, is this is the bluest district in Chatham County, District 2. There's 24,000 Democrats, registered Democrats. There's only about 3,000 Republicans. So the fact that we're even in a runoff is amazing. But we've identified about 1,700 hard Republicans, and if half of them show up and vote, we win this thing. So that's just how close we were. And you said she took the lion's share. She did, but she only beat us by, I think it was like 175 votes or something.
Yeah.
So that's only how far ahead she was. So the distance is not far. I mean, it's going to come down to the individual votes now. So people just have to go vote. It'll take you 10 minutes.
Now, you got into this, maybe reluctantly, into politics, but what are you hearing? You've been knocking on a lot of doors. What are people hearing? I remember when a friend of mine was running the first time for city council, and he got to a door and some lady said, well, how do you feel about abortion or something like that? He said, we got to figure that. City council's going to work on that too. But there's things that are on people's minds.
Yeah.
What are you hearing?
Yeah, the most thing I heard, or probably the most of, was the homelessness issue. And I don't have a magic bullet to fix that. I don't, but I know that we have to deal with it. I put on my flyers, and one of my campaign slogans was "Deal with it compassionately." They're not criminals, but that we have to deal with it. The other thing I've been hearing is, hey, obviously taxes are a big thing, but the thing I'm hearing the most is we don't have adults in the room right now. And the lack of qualification, a lot of these candidates and the ones who get in there, I mean, it's appalling. So I think, and I'm hearing a lot of stuff nationally too, it obviously doesn't apply to our race, but people are tired, and they feel like, and a lot of the folks I've heard from feel like they're not being heard. So the fact that there's a candidate in front of you that they're willing to just spill the beans, tell everything how they feel. I think my team's heard a lot of interesting, unique things, but for this race in this town and this county, a lot of it's the lack of qualification, and that's why I threw my name in the hat.
Yeah, so. In fact, and again, we talk about the lack of turnout. When I was going around the first time, I went to my precinct, and they said, if you were able, unfortunately, I couldn't vote for you. I'm in District 1. I said, but first of all, people don't know what district they're in.
Yes. Yeah. So that was one thing I did hear yesterday. I talked about 10 voters in District 1-8 who had no clue that they were moved to District 2 or they even could cast a vote in District 2. And I think this was a recent thing, in the last few weeks that they've changed this over. Yeah. So 1-8, yes, you can vote in District 2. Unfortunately, they haven't done a good job of explaining this. And the Board of Registrars, I think, points the finger at the Board of Elections, and the Board of Elections points the finger back at them. But regardless, it's pretty easy to find out if you just put your address in the website. It'll tell you if you can vote or not and what district you can vote in for the county. And the county and city are different, too. They're two different districts. Yeah. So that has been something I heard. Oh, I didn't even realize I can vote.
Yeah, and when I did go in and doing my research, they said if you were able to vote today, you would have been like the 9th voter. This was 3:00 in the afternoon. Said you would have been the 9th person to vote today. Yeah, yeah. And when you think about the amount of money that we spend, especially with early voting, and how much that costs. And I'm one of these vote election day only. But if you're going to have early voting, a week at the most. If you can't get it done within a week, then we don't want you to vote. You're obviously not an educated voter.
That's right. I'm not a big fan of the early vote. I know there's some circumstances in the past we've had it and it's helped, but I'm the day of voter too. But the rules have changed. I guess times have changed, unfortunately. But we have an opportunity now to have our voices heard as conservatives in the bluest district, and I think this will start a domino and momentum that we need.
What do you when you get there? What do you want to do? Somebody said, okay, you're going to get in that seat. What are your plans?
First thing is, and it sounds cliche, but transparency. There has been no transparency. I talked to people time and time again. They said, they won't tell us what's going on. They close the meetings, and the meetings that are open, it's so confusing. So I think first and foremost, the first thing I want to do is get in there and understand what the heck is going on. And the second thing, I think, the most important thing is listen to my constituents, the people who put me there. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to what makes them tick. I'm conservative. I'm a Republican. I've got my own values and principles that I want to apply to that.
Sure.
I think I want to be speaking from a foghorn about human trafficking going on through Chatham County. And that's something I really want to put an eye on. I also want to put an eye on, the fact that we've got issues that are going on in the county and the city, and they're not talking together, they're not working together. It's something that we really need to focus on. We need to get adults in the room, like I said before. And I want to look and see where the money's going. My dad always used to say, follow the money.
Yeah, that's right.
Where there's smoke, there's probably fire. So I want to understand where this money's going. And I think it's ridiculous that the Board of Elections is getting $3 million to perform elections. And that comes from the county budget. So that's something else I want to put some attention on.
And county covers a lot of territory. Recreation, I think, is one of the big things that we could talk about. One of the big drawing points is what a beautiful city we have.
Absolutely.
I mean, we don't have 17 or 20 million people coming here every year just because they happen to be passing through.
That's right.
It was a destination.
This is a destination.
Yeah,
That's right.
So we have these beautiful parks, and I usually see them empty. We have an aquatic center that is that is in much need of repairs, and this could be one of the shining stars in our community of drawing people. I don't know if many people realize how important, what a big economic boost a swim meet is here for the weekend.
Oh my gosh.
When you have 700 swimmers come in, remember that's just the swimmers. They have parents. They have brothers and sisters. The officials have to get here about a week or two in advance.
That's correct.
So these people stay in motels, they eat in restaurants, they shop at the mall or wherever. Improving that facility should be paramount.
Absolutely, boosting the economy is one of the crux of anything, getting anything going, especially coming in a new seat like this. But you're absolutely right. Like we've got cheerleaders. It's the same thing.
Exactly.
The aquatic center, I totally agree. I haven't been in the aquatic center in a while, and I will make a visit over there. But I've heard time and time again the same thing. We need to do repairs on it.
The air conditioning's been out now. It might have been repaired since I heard about this, but they said the air conditioning was out for weeks, if not months.
Yeah, no, those are things that's sad.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah, so that would be something that I would bring up. And the first meeting I'm there, the first chance I get is to say, hey, what do we do to help enrich what we already have?
Mm-hmm.
And what we already have is a town that people want to come to. Outside of the cheer thing, you mentioned like the parks and look, I've seen bad people hanging out in Forsyth Park and some of these parks that we need to really clean up. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying everybody's a criminal. I'm not saying that, but it's sad when you walk through as a father of 5 and you walk through any of these small squares, interactive squares, or even Forsyth Park, and you smell marijuana.
Yeah,
that's something else I have a real issue with.
And people sleeping on the bench.
And people who are exercising early. My wife's even said, "Hey, I'm not going to go run in the morning because it's still dark because I feel unsafe."
Yeah,
that's sad in a town like Savannah,
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But to go back, coming full circle, like the aquatic center is something I'd have as a high priority. Safety around our parks and our interactive areas, especially where there are tourists. I think those are areas that we really need to focus on, but everywhere, in Chatham County. It's not just the downtown area, but everywhere. And that goes to the aquatic center, which is outside of the downtown area. So there's a lot of focus that we need to put in this county. And I'm just thankful to have the opportunity to be here, to be in the running, to do this. And I hope that people put me there today because I tell you, there will be some changes coming.
Because a lot of people say, "Okay, you're just one guy.
Right.
You're going to be fighting the battle, but you're used to the good fight."
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean,
you've had to fight in your own neighborhood.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna mention some of the fights that we've got right now. That's a time for that.
Yeah.
But yes, to answer your question, I am ready to fight, and I do think that we have some good folks already on the county commission. Sometimes you just need a spark. And that can ignite a great movement. And I can tell you right now, I will be the voice of reason up there. I will be talking. There's a couple of great folks there now. I was at an event, and one of them mentioned something about taking out trash. And, hey, I've heard your complaints about your trash in the county. I said, listen, man, that's an important thing, but I could think of 10 things right now off the top of my head that are more important than just the trash.
Yeah.
Figuratively and literally. So, I just think there's a lot to do. There's a lot of people. There's good folks there right now. And I think some good new blood getting in there will be different. I think my opponent, she's probably more of the same. You know? So if you want to keep getting the same you've always got and continue to go down this path in this trajectory of at best mediocrity.
Yeah,
that's you put her in there.
Yeah, we've talked about that all morning, and for the last with the Speaker of the House as much as anything else. But and sometimes it does take that one little spark.
That's right.
For somebody to finally say, okay, I can get behind this guy. Maybe I've been sitting on my duff too long, and it's time for us to get out and get something done for this county.
Well, and I think, Pat Rosser's got a race coming up. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
there's
he
a few
is.
good ones on the ballot coming up here in November. I think that this race literally could start a domino effect. This is momentum we need as conservatives, as Republicans, to start getting Chatham County back, because as Chatham County comes back the right way, so does Georgia. And I think so does the country. And you start at this local level, though. We could talk all day about the national level, and those things need to be discussed, and we need to get the right people. We need to vote for them. But honestly, it's most impactful to go to the local level. So,
David Tootle, best of luck. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Vote for David. All right. We'll be right back. Stay real.
Foxy Loxy, Coffee Fox, and Henny Penny, making life better for Savannahans with their kolaches, tacos, coffees. They're just amazing. Buy local and keep the torch lit.
Serving the Savannah area with the power of the Shield since 1934, with personal insurance, employee benefits, and business insurance. With integrity, security, and trust. For more information, go to thepoweroftheshield.com.
When you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, the experts at Best Business Brokers have you covered. Whether you're ready to cash in on your years of hard work or you're taking that first step in buying a business of your own, they're here to guide you through the process and make sure you get the best outcome possible. By having Best Business Brokers assist you when you buy a business or sell a business, they handle the legwork of the intricate process. This ensures a smooth transition of ownership, allowing you to get to work immediately or receive payment for your business as soon as possible. With base operations in Savannah and Charleston, they service all of Georgia and South Carolina. If you're considering starting a business here, the mild winters and 5-tiered economic areas make these the perfect places to do so. If you're ready to buy a business or sell a business, then you're ready to contact Best Business Brokers. Visit their website at b3brokers.com or call at 912-349-0940.
Who is a kid? Well, that's a kid. And another. Look, a gaggle of them. Or is it a herd? Litter? Pride. But what about her? Tell her she's not a kid. Or him. So how do we tell who is a kid? Height? Age, maybe. But some of us have to grow up faster than others. A kid. A kid. A kid wants to make the world better. And one day, he just might. Is a kid fearless? Vulnerable? Strong? Nervous? Yes. 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 Kiwanis is 600,000 kids at heart doing all the little and big things it takes to help children around the world. Because kids need Kiwanis. All of them.
Have you ever boarded a plane and thought to yourself, I hope the pilot is a transgender refugee? Have you ever gone to the emergency room and said, I hope my medical team is incredibly diverse? Have you ever moved to a new city and said, I hope the police department hit its equity goals for the year? If your answer to these questions was no, if you just wanted the most qualified candidates for the job, then you are normal. But we have a lot of very not normal people running America these days. Left-wing politicians believe skin color or gender identity should determine who gets the job. Democrats used to care about the middle class. Now they just care about your race and your gender. And as long as Democrats stay in power, it will just keep getting worse. Stop the bigotry. Stop the insanity. Paid for by Citizens for Sanity.
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty Savannah. I'm coming home, Savannah.
Welcome back to Get Real America.
I'm Bill Edwards.
I'm Brittany Brown.
Boy, David Tootle's a real thing, isn't he?
Yes, and I think that Chatham County would be in a very good spot if they elect him today. So I hope that we see that. I hope we see a lot of people turn out to vote for him. And by a lot, I think we can win it with 400 people. So please
go vote. Listen, tell your friends. You text us all the time. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate your loyalty in watching. But send it out on your social media to everybody. Have them, if they don't know what district they're living in, have them check. In fact, they might have changed. I don't live in District 2. Unfortunately, I can't vote for David, but I checked. Yeah, my district hadn't changed, so I can't vote for him today. But by gosh, we need this guy in there. He is the real deal, believe me.
Yes, and he's definitely not a politician. He has a very good job and doesn't really need to do this, but he does have 5 children that he is concerned about. So
without a doubt, yeah.
What more could you ask for?
So if you think you don't have time or something, imagine having 5 kids.
Yes.
And I presume they're probably all under about 12.
You're correct.
I thought so.
I think the youngest is 3 or 4. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job by itself.
Yes, and good thing is he's married and his wife is wonderful. So there's that.
Yeah. Did it in the right order.
Yeah.
Got married, then had the kids.
Yes.
There we
go. So, you know, I there's a lot of stuff going on, and one of the things is this George Santos character, I call him a character because ever since he was elected, they have been going after him. I think he has been indicted on some charges. I think it's every 3 to 6 months. I think he's on the same schedule as Trump. Not really sure. But he's a New York guy, elected as a Republican, and they've gone after him ever since he was elected. It's kind of interesting. But they asked him about Mendez, who was also indicted a month ago.
Yeah, and then indicted again
on Friday.
And of course, he got off the hook on a hung jury just about a couple of years back. So Menendez has been in the, shall we say, judicial spotlight for some time now, and not on the good side.
Yes, but they did ask George Santos what he thought of Bob Menendez and if he should actually resign his position.
Well, let's hear it.
Do you think Senator Menendez should resign, given his indictment?
I don't have an opinion on that.
Why not?
Because I think due process is important, and I think he has the right to defend himself. He's innocent until proven guilty. The media has to stop acting like everybody is guilty before they're even judged by a jury. So no, I think everybody is innocent until proven guilty. When did we walk away from the fabric of our Constitution that everybody has a presumption of innocence before anything else? So I don't think he should resign.
Okay.
No, thank you.
So there you have it.
Interesting that they asked him, though. But I do like his answer, and I do think we need to get back to that. And I think because we don't teach the Constitution, people don't understand anything about this country or what it stands for.
I think one of the best speeches that I heard when I was at Ole Miss was F. Lee Bailey, when he was at the zenith of his career. He had just defended the Boston Strangler, and by the way, he said everybody's entitled to a defense. They're not entitled to an acquittal. He said he didn't want to see the Boston Strangler out on the streets. This guy had killed 13 women in Boston at the time. And he said, I want this guy to stay behind bars. He's mentally ill, but everybody deserves to have a defense. But you're not entitled to an acquittal. But one of the things that he railed about was the importance of our judicial system. He said a jury, as a general rule, will come to a better conclusion than a single person, just a judge, because juries are 12. There's a collective intelligence there. And he also said that it's vital that we go back to what Soros just said in his not Soros, who?
Santos,
yeah, starts with an S. But he said it's important to realize that he said one of the biggest fallacies of the law is that you're innocent until proven guilty. He said most people think that you're guilty and then have to be proven innocent, because if you hadn't done anything, the police wouldn't be charging you. And he said that is something that a part of the judicial system that we have to understand and get over, that you are supposed to be innocent until you're proven guilty. And I think that Santos had a great answer for that. So good on him. But as you said, why ask him?
Well, because he's under similar indictments, and I'm sure that
from the folks at BSDNC.
Well, and I'm sure that they were trying to get some sort of clip, some viral clip. Yeah, that's what they do. But I think it was great that he also called them out. Like, you guys need to stop being judge and jury. The media needs to stop. I mean, we are very biased on our show, but we're honest about that. We're not trying to be moderate.
We're not trying to sugarcoat this. And frankly, the rest of the left-wing media is not trying to do it either.
No.
Once upon a time, they were trying to say, "Oh, we're above the fray. We are, as Fox would say, fair and balanced. We might be left-wing liberal loons, but we can cover a story unbiasedly." No, you can't.
No,
David Brinkley even said that. He said, "We're human. We have our opinions, and that's what happens sometimes."
Yes, and we're. This is from a conservative perspective. This is what this show is.
Yes.
Mary McCann Hybrider says lawfare is guilty until proven innocent. This is media propaganda. It sure is.
Without a doubt.
But also, I'm still questioning why they're after this Santos person so badly. They have gone after him since the beginning, and he has come unscathed
and at
so
the
far.
same time, did you hear Leon Panetta, I'm sorry, when he was on with Brett Baer last week, and Brett asked him, said, I know this is kind of off topic because he was asking you about the war, about things going on in Israel. Said, but do you regret signing that letter? The 52 supposedly people in the Secret Service type of the saying that was Russian that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. Do you regret that? Did you hear his reply?
I did not, because I do not watch Fox News, but
Okay.
please go ahead.
I watch Fox News, so you don't have to.
I appreciate it.
But he said, we knew that. He said, I know how the Russians operate, and he says, I'm very afraid of the Russians, and I don't trust them, and Brett said, I don't want to belabor the point, but he's already admitted that it was his laptop now. We know all of this. Do you regret signing that letter saying that this was Russian disinformation? And he said, I know how the Russians operate, and he said, so you don't regret signing that form, And he said, I don't regret not trusting the Russians.
These people are evil. These people are evil. I'm sorry. These people should not be in positions of power. They should. These people need to just be let go from the government, let the chips fall where they may, but I'm over having these type of people that have no integrity, no ethics, and no moral compass, for that matter, on what they're doing. It's just all about power, money, greed, and making sure that we get Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm over it.
Yeah, for sure. And these people need to start learning to get along. The two people I was trying to think about yesterday that were at opposite ends of the political spectrum that were good friends, and I had that Biden moment, were Bill Buckley and John Kenneth Galbraith. You can't get two people who disagreed on politics and political issues and American free enterprise and anything else any further apart. And they were best friends for years. They went vacationing with their families together, going to ski lodges together. They were good friends, but when it came to politics, they were exactly oil and water.
Well, I talked to a guy over the weekend who was helping with David Tootle's campaign, and he was like, yeah, I'm married to a liberal. And I kind of just looked at him and said, wow, that must be interesting. But he's like, we don't talk about politics. And, he's like, it's been interesting because they've been able to have good conversations about things, but he's like, we try to avoid politics. And I think that probably 15 years ago, you could probably be married to a liberal. But everything is so polarized. I just don't know how you take politics out of anything now.
Yeah, and the fact that, how sad it was that we saw a family over the Donald Trump election, said, families that broke up or wouldn't come together for Thanksgiving, or if they did, before the turkey was served, they were at loggerheads.
Yeah, or they had like a food fight.
Yeah. Food fight.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. But, politics has gotten really, really nasty and really dirty. And I think that we've stopped having like really good conversation or like intellectual conversations about things. I think it's become talking points and circular speaking about things. There's no real engagement because people actually don't understand a lot of things and they don't take the time to research it and actually form their own opinion. They're taking the opinions of others, such as, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has been able to get so many millennials and Gen Zers to register to vote, and whoever she says to vote for, they're going to vote for. So,
and for the love of God, we know she was at the football game, okay?
No one missed it.
Yeah.
And just for the record, Taylor Swift, Jessica Simpson did it first. So there you go. There you go. Well,
on Fox Nation, by the way, there's a great documentary on Taylor, who is Taylor Swift, and they've got a lot of good ones.
Interesting.
They got one. They got about a 7-part
Did you watch
series.
it?
Yes.
Was it good or bad?
It was excellent.
Oh, you like Taylor Swift now?
Not from political standpoint, but how her rise to fame and how she took control of her own destiny, especially at such a young age. And when she told Apple, no, you can't play my music. If you're not going to pay the proper fees, you're not playing my music. And so I admire her.
But now Soros owns her whole collection, so there's that.
Just because she's so open-minded that her brain's falling out is a different story. But still, there who is. Whoever they got, there's a 4-part series on who is not Tucker Carlson, who is Donald Trump. But I think it's about a 6-part series on who is Donald Trump. But they've done it. Fox Nation does a great job. I'm sorry if you don't like it. That's your problem. But check it out.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate
Good
that
documentaries, very important stuff.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that Fox kind of betrayed their base. For me, I cannot give Fox any money, but I have heard that their stuff is very good. And Tucker did a lot of really great stuff for Fox. So
yeah, he sure did. They should have showed him better appreciation.
Yes. Well, technically, he's still a Fox employee. Did you know that?
Yeah. And by the way, how much ever money they're paying Trey Yingst, the reporter over in Israel, is not enough. Whatever they're paying him is not enough. I don't think this guy has slept in a month. Unbelievable reports from him from the Middle East. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. We'll be back tomorrow to take care of the rest of solve the rest of the problems of the world on the Wednesday edition.
Yes, hopefully we'll be celebrating a big win here in District 2.
Please help us out.
Yes, remember to become a member. You can donate. You can also, if you have a business, advertise with us.
Right.
We have a very conservative audience, and
we are so broke we can't pay attention. So, for goodness sakes, get us some dough, okay?
Yes. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, sir.